So I just heard about this viral video of this fitness influencer Ashton Hall. And the dude looks like an absolute phenom, typical of a, 20-year-old fitness influencer athlete. And good for him. I wanted to do kind of a reaction video of his morning routine, what I think about it for the over 40 crowd. And is, a lot of this just hype? Is it just for show? I'm sure it has its uses, but let's go through some of this and dissect it up. So first thing, he's using nasal tape to open up his airways, which I hear a lot of people raving about, especially while you're sleeping. Helps get more oxygen in, especially through the nose, which is what you want to help promote more, nitric oxide delivery through the body. Also, breathing through your nose helps your body use your diaphragm for breathing and not your rib cage. So thus helping calm your vagus nerve down and helping with cortisol levels, yada, yada, yada. But the mouth tape thing has kind of been a new trend going on with a lot of influencers and fitness gurus. And I understand to force you to start breathing through your nose, but then a lot of other doctors specifically are saying some of the potential dangers of it. If you have blockages in your nose and everyone's gotten stuffy at some point, you hope that you would wake up from the lack of oxygen that you're getting with this mouth tape. It seems better to do during your waking hours if you're working or something, if you really need to help your body train to use your nose if you're a mouth breather. But while you're sleeping, God, why take these chances? I guess if you have no problems with breathing through your nose, you never get stuffy, you don't have allergies, you're not worried about this, each their own. Maybe put a hole through the mouth tape just in case you still are closing it. I don't know. All these things can help. I agree. There's dangers to some of them. So let's move on. Right there, all I could see is he's using Sensodyne toothpaste, or maybe it's something else, but Sensodyne toothpaste helps with people who are a lot more sensitive to hot and cold things. So not really a hack or anything. So drinking water as soon as you wake up, I agree. Maybe with some sodium in it, electrolytes, a little bit of sea salt sprinkled into it. He's really pushing this Saratoga water. So let's look at that real quick. So Saratoga water, sparkling carbonated spring water. I'm a big fan of spring water. I was using mountain spring water delivered by Sparklets. And I recently just changed because they weren't sending the glass bottles, the 5-gallon glass bottle jugs to my area. And it was just cheaper to go to my local water store where I get a mix of purified water and alkaline water. And then I just add my own electrolytes. So this is definitely a play on, it probably tastes great. It's mountain spring water. It's carbonated, so you don't have to do it. I get it. Let's move on. Very cool. Rogaine. I recently just had Dr. Bauman on my podcast, and he is next level hair restoration expert in the United States and talks about doing all these tests on your hair, on your facial hair, to see what things would work best for you, because not all the time does, finasteride or minoxidil, oral or topical, is for everyone. It might be dietary problems, but check out that episode if you really care about your facial hair and your hair, because it's not all about just making money on you and getting hair transplants. He wants to stop that from ever happening. So let's keep going. Very cool. He's grooming, looks good. Couple body shots. Doing some meditating before he works out. Typically, if you're going to go outside, it's probably better in the morning, so you also get the circadian rhythm going. I'm sure he's going to get the sun pretty soon. And they say, when you wake up when there's light outside. He's obviously doing that before to get his day started. So probably, I don't know if his circadian rhythm is benefiting from this or not. But there we go, promoting that Saratoga water bottle. That's cool. Do your thing, man. Cool. Getting his mind right, meditation, praying, who knows what he's doing, getting your to-do list for the day. So, I follow Dave Asprey, biohacker godfather, right? And he's real big on this. Joe Rogan's big on this of, not only just doing polar plunges and cryo freezing, that kind of stuff, but how it benefits your face. I personally can't do it. I do cold plunging seasonally because my parents' pool will get down to the, 40 degrees and above level where you get all the benefits from cold plunging. And all I got to do is dunk my face to get all the benefits of what he's doing. I refuse to do it. I don't care. I'll let science and AI help reverse the signs of aging on my face later, but doing this as a daily thing, it's just, I can't do it. So do what works for you. Not sure what the lemon juice is doing for your skin. Maybe it's got to do something. Just don't open your eyes. All right, let's. He's just doing all this, seeing the daily life of Ashton Hall where he lives and, getting ready for the gym. All right, early morning steam. It's got its benefits. Be cool if you had some infrared or red light going on. I'm a real big fan of doing the infrared saunas. Doing his dynamic warm ups with his compression pants. This is all just a lot of athletes like all this stuff, and it does help. And dynamic stretching, dynamic warm ups are great. Over 40 audience, we don't need to do this much, obviously. We're more worried about recovery, but it's just, I used to do all this stuff in my 20s and 30s as well. Yep, he's got some hops. He's fast, cool. Who knows if this guy is actually on anything, and probably not. Some people are just genetic phenoms. I've had friends and other trainers who just had it, and they do put in the work on top of it too, not to take it away from them. But a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be like this guy. You're never going to be like this guy if you weren't already born like that. But that doesn't mean you should push and strive. Just all I'm saying is stop comparing yourself to others. Just be the better version of yourself. That's all. Saratoga water, get it in. All right, so getting your potassium in, cool. Banana, I don't because it's too high carb for me on a low carb diet. That's not to say that's for everybody. That's just the best I feel is on a low carb diet. Not sure what a banana does for the skin. Let's look at that one real quick. All right, let's just Google AI is great, by the way. This is even better than Reddit when you're searching for stuff. And I always cross-reference when I look at stuff with putting Reddit at the end, and I'll look at it, and it's like usually where I get all my answers that I am satisfied with. But now with this Google AI, who knows if it's pulling from Reddit, but anything you ask, and then I go research other stuff, this literally was the best answer in my opinion. So rubbing the inside of a banana peel on your face can offer natural skincare benefits like moisturizing, reduce wrinkles. Yeah, it's probably one of those things that has to be done daily and you'll see the benefits in like 5 years. But the only way to really know if it did anything for you was if you could make a twin of yourself and one does it and one does not. Who knows? Cool. That's just pushing a Saratoga, healthy meals, cool. Checking himself out and his stats on his social media. All right, going for it again. Probably does help with, clearing some stuff up, maybe some red eye, get yourself prepped for an interview or podcast like me. I'm not doing that. So I guess there's like 12 of these. I literally looked at all these other posts and it's really just pushing more of Saratoga Spring Water, dipping your face in ice cold plunges and running around with weight vests and then showing off your Lamborghini, your watches and everything. So it's not much more to go on this. So I think moral of the story is what we can take from this for the over 40 audience is maybe motivation, having a routine, starting early in the morning. I don't think it needs to be this early, just early enough to, get the morning light and start your day, whatever works for you. Cold plunging, cool. Electrolyte water, really great. In fact, let me show you this. Last Element, we'll play on words, LMNT. They're really pushing the studies showing that in our American diet, we actually need more sodium with an electrolyte balance such as this, potassium, magnesium. And in all my studies, I've been taught and learned to have way more potassium than sodium. One, for water retention, so you're not bloated all the time. And then two, for all the electrical activity that comes with having potassium in your body for muscle contractions and performance. I understand the need for sodium and its relation to potassium, but typically they like having a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio with potassium being higher, and no freaking way anyone's even getting close to that of potassium. So to push us into something like this that has 1,000 milligrams in one hit when I'm trying to keep my sodium down to about 2,000 milligrams for the day, and I'm eating healthy and non-processed stuff, this is going to make it a lot harder to hit that ratio, or I'm going to have to up my potassium a lot more with my other electrolyte drink that I have. So it'll be very interesting. And from what I've looked on their website, it just seems that for people who sweat a lot and are active as hell, which my over 40 audience, I don't know how much time we have left to do this, some of that, but some of you out there are still playing sports and all that kind of stuff. I see this as probably necessary because you're losing salt like crazy more than you are potassium. So I think on those days, it's fine. but they also push it as like a pre-workout thing. Most of us over 40 who are just trying to do some lightweight training, more worry about getting our six pack. We're not really sweating that much. I'm not going to talk for all of you out there. Probably don't need this, maybe half of it. So always just do your own research, talk with your doc. And other than that, just, biohack with it. See how you feel. Besides trying to hit all your ratios, see how you feel with a little more sodium before workouts or more potassium for workouts. And then watch your blood work. Your doctor may come back saying, dude, your sodium's too high and you have high blood pressure now, or maybe potassium, who knows? So I think I'll leave with that. There wasn't much to talk about with this guy. Ashton's got a great body. He's a genetic phenom. On top of that, he puts in the work to make it even bigger, right? And great for him. I looked at some of the other stuff he talks about work ethic and marketing and all that kind of stuff. The dude's awesome. His story's cool, and glad to do another post to highlight him. This is his kind of time to shine right now. He's the biggest thing on social media for fitness. Anyways, I think I'll end with that. Thanks for listening to me rant on this, and check out my podcast, Over 40 Fitness Hacks, as well as all my social media. Same thing. Check you out on the next one.